Have you ever felt tired, even after resting? Not just physically tired, but mentally exhausted. Your mind feels heavy, your motivation disappears, even small tasks start to feel overwhelming. Many people think this means they are lazy or unmotivated, but the truth is very different. Mental exhaustion is real. It can affect anyone who has been carrying too much stress, pressure, or emotional weight for too long. In this video, we are going to talk about such signs that your mind may be mentally exhausted and what you can begin to do to restore your inner balance. One of the first signs of mental exhaustion is constant overthinking. Your mind keeps replaying situations from the past, analyzing conversations, and imagining problems that might happen in the future. Even when you try to relax, your thoughts continue running in the background. Overthinking. This constant mental activity drains your energy. Another sign is losing motivation for things you normally enjoy. Activities that once felt exciting may suddenly feel difficult or pointless. This doesn't mean you no longer care about your goals. It often means your mind simply needs rest. When the mind is exhausted, even small problems can feel overwhelming. Simple decisions become stressful. Tasks that used to feel easy suddenly require much more effort. This happens because your mental energy is already depleted. Mental exhaustion also affects concentration. You may find it harder to stay focused on conversations, work, or daily tasks. Your mind feels foggy. It becomes difficult to organize your thoughts clearly. This is a sign that your brain needs time to recover. Another common sign is increased irritability. When the mind is overloaded, patience becomes shorter. Small frustrations may trigger stronger emotional reactions than usual. This does not mean you are becoming a negative person. It simply means your emotional resources are stretched too thin. Many people who feel mentally exhausted struggle with sleep. Even when the body is tired, the mind continues thinking. Thoughts repeat, worries appear, and relaxation becomes difficult. Quality sleep is essential for restoring mental balance. Finally, mental exhaustion often leads to emotional fatigue. You may feel disconnected, numb, or simply too tired to process your emotions. This is your mind asking for time, care, and patience. Mental exhaustion is something that many people experience, but very few recognize immediately. Life today moves quickly, and most people are constantly thinking about responsibilities, expectations, and future plans. The mind rarely has a chance to rest. When the brain stays in a state of constant pressure for too long, it slowly begins to lose energy. At first, the signs are small. You may feel a little more tired than usual, or you may find it harder to stay focused during conversations or tasks. Over time, however, this mental fatigue can grow stronger. Your thoughts may begin to feel heavier. Your patience becomes shorter, and even simple responsibilities may start to feel overwhelming. Understanding these signs is important because mental exhaustion often appears quietly. Many people believe they are simply unmotivated or lazy, when in reality their mind has simply been carrying too much stress for too long. Recognizing the signs is the first step toward restoring balance. The first sign of mental exhaustion is constant overthinking. When the mind is tired, it often becomes trapped in cycles of repetitive thoughts. You may find yourself replaying past conversations again and again, analyzing things you said or things you wish you had said differently. Your mind may also jump into the future, imagining possible problems or worrying about situations that have not even happened yet. This constant mental activity drains energy from the brain. Overthinking creates the illusion that you are solving problems, but most of the time it simply keeps the mind stuck in worry. Learning to recognize when your mind is overthinking can help you begin to interrupt this cycle. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is pause, breathe slowly, and remind yourself that not every thought requires your attention. Another common sign of mental exhaustion is the loss of motivation. Activities that once felt exciting or meaningful may suddenly feel difficult or pointless. You may notice that tasks which used to be simple now require much more effort. Even getting started on small responsibilities can feel overwhelming. This happens because the mind has limited emotional energy. When that energy is drained by stress, worry, or constant pressure, motivation naturally decreases. Many people mistake this fatigue for laziness, but mental exhaustion is not laziness. It is simply a signal from the brain that it needs rest and recovery. Giving yourself time to recharge is not weakness. It is an important part of maintaining mental health. Another sign of mental exhaustion is difficulty concentrating. When the mind is overloaded with thoughts and stress, it becomes harder to focus on the present moment. You may find yourself reading the same sentence multiple times without understanding it. Conversations may feel harder to follow. Simple decisions may suddenly require much more effort. This mental fog can be frustrating, especially when you are trying to remain productive. But this experience is actually the brain asking for a pause. Just as muscles become tired after physical exercise, the brain becomes tired after long periods of emotional and cognitive effort. Taking short breaks, stepping away from screens, and allowing your mind to relax can gradually restore your ability to focus. Irritability is another sign that the mind may be exhausted. When mental energy is low, patience becomes shorter and emotional reactions can become stronger. Small inconveniences that normally would not bother you may suddenly feel overwhelming. This happens because emotional regulation requires energy. When the brain is tired, it becomes more difficult to manage stress and frustration. Recognizing this pattern can help you respond with greater understanding toward yourself. Instead of criticizing yourself for feeling irritated, it may be more helpful to ask whether your mind simply needs rest. If you recognize some of these signs in your own life, remember that mental exhaustion does not mean something is wrong with you. It just simply means your mind has been working very hard for a long time. The brain, just like the body, needs moments of recovery, rest, reflection, and patience are essential for restoring emotional balance. By slowing down, breathing deeply, and giving your mind time to recover, you allow your thoughts to become clearer again. Mental health is not about being strong every moment of the day. It is about learning when to pause, when to rest, and when to care for your own well-being. Another important sign of mental exhaustion is feeling emotionally numb. When the mind has been under pressure for too long, it sometimes begins to shut down emotionally as a form of protection. You may notice that things which once made you happy no longer create the same excitement. Conversations may feel less engaging. Moments that should feel meaningful may feel strangely distant. This does not mean you have lost your ability to feel joy. It often means your mind is simply overwhelmed and trying to protect itself from further emotional stress. When emotional numbness appears, it is often a signal that the mind needs gentleness and recovery rather than more pressure. Giving yourself space to rest emotionally can slowly restore your ability to feel connected again. It is also important to remember that the human mind was never designed to carry constant stress without rest. Modern life demands a great deal from people: work responsibilities, personal expectations, financial concerns, and social pressures can all accumulate in the background of our thoughts. When these pressures remain for too long without relief, the nervous system stays in a constant state of alertness. This constant alertness can slowly drain mental energy. Taking time to disconnect from stress, even for short periods, allows the nervous system to reset and recover. Simple actions like going for a walk, spending time in nature, or sitting quietly with your thoughts can help restore mental balance. If you have been feeling mentally exhausted, remember that this experience is more common than many people realize. Many individuals around the world silently struggle with the same feelings of mental fatigue, overthinking, and emotional overload. But mental exhaustion is not permanent. With time, patience, and healthy habits, the mind can regain clarity and strength again. Learning to listen to your mind, to slow down when necessary, and to treat yourself with understanding can create powerful changes in your emotional well-being. Sometimes the most important step toward healing is simply recognizing that your mind deserves rest. If you have been feeling mentally exhausted, remember that this experience is more common than many people realize. Many individuals around the world silently struggle with the same feelings of mental fatigue, overthinking, and emotional overload. But mental exhaustion is not permanent. With time, patience, and healthy habits, the mind can regain clarity and strength again. Learning to listen to your mind, to slow down when necessary, and to treat yourself with understanding can create powerful changes in your emotional well-being. Sometimes the most important step toward healing is simply recognizing that your mind deserves rest. If this message resonated with you, please support the channel by liking this video and subscribing. Your support helps this message reach more people who may be struggling right now.